Good day. Thank you for joining us. As part of the 16 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence, JDPC Benin staff in this segment will be sharing their field-based insights to enhance their efforts in addressing sexual and gender-based violence in communities. I am Sandra, and with me is Juliet, Famous, and Ifunaya. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
So, Ifunaya, please, can you tell us what sexual and gender-based violence is, its type, effects, and its preventions?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. So the first one, sexual and gender-based violence refers to any act of abuse or violence against a person because of their sex or gender. Now we have the types. We have rape, female genital mutilation, early child marriage, domestic violence, sex trafficking, and others. Then also the effects it has on an individual. We have social stigma, poverty, mental problems such as depression, anxiety, physical injuries or disabilities, and also the common one, difficult in trusting other persons. And also coming to the prevention. Now we can prevent this act or this violence by creating awareness among people, particularly children, youth, mothers, and fathers, in the ways on how to cope this very act. And also we can provide support to victims in like people who have experienced this type of violence or abuse. We can help provide support to them. Also, we have strengthening laws and policies. This part has to do basically with government. Okay, so in Edo State, we have the VAP law, which covers cases like this. So, if these laws, yes, they are embedded. So we just plead with the government to help strengthen these laws and policies to help cope this act. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Famous, can you tell the viewers some of the specific challenges we face while addressing sexual and gender-based violence cases?
Okay, thank you for that question. In the course of addressing sexual and gender-based violence, there are some specific challenges that we face every time. One of the most important one is stigmatization. A lot of people will think if they experience any form of violence or gender-based violence, coming out to speak will make them feel stigmatized. And this in itself is a challenge because it stops people from coming out to speak for the fear of stigmatization. Another thing is cultural and traditional practices in our different localities, in our communities. Some of the gender-based violence that we talk about today, like female genital mutilation, is a part of some communities' cultural and traditional practices where they do all these things. And having to change those practices is a task, it's a challenge, because this is something they've grown up to meet, and it is hard because it is their way of life. So you have to reorientate them, re-educate these communities so that they will know the dangers of these cultural practices. Another thing is the long prolonging of court cases. Challenges are there in the court whereby there are cases in court where they always adjourn, where cases will last for more than 3, 4, 5 years in court of somebody who has been abused or sexually violated. But because the way the court system is, even though the court is doing their best, but I think there's still a lot that can be done. And these are one of the challenges that we face. Lack of synergy between the service providers and government institutions is one of the challenges that we face a lot. Lack of synergy, where you take a case to court or to the police station, and here and there you hardly, some they will say their files are missing. These are some of the challenges that we face, and I believe there's still a lot of work, even though we are doing our best, but there's still a lot more to be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Everybody here will agree with me that when we go out for sensitizations, you hear people saying men are being abused, men are being abused. So what do you have to say about those men? You know, men, they don't cry out. We know that they are being abused, but they don't cry out. So what is your advice to these men that don't cry out? And also, there are some women that they practice this silence, being silent. They don't cry out, no matter what they are going through. They don't cry out. So what's your advice? How do we talk to these persons? Because some people believe that when they come out, what do you have to offer them? If they leave their husband's house, how do they feed? What do you have to offer them? Are you ready to give them job? Are you ready to open businesses for them? So what do you have to say about this?
Sexual-based violence, sexual and gender-based violence has nothing to do. It has a little to do with this gender or this gender. Every gender has a tendency of experiencing violence from the other gender. So it's just that it is hard for men to come out and talk, because society has placed it in the way society is built. It is a man is not supposed to be, to be vulnerable in the eyes of the community or in the family, so a man is supposed to be a man. That word, be a man, has been so used in our society today that even though a man is facing any form of gender-based violence in his home or anywhere else, it is hard for that man to come out and say, this is what I'm experiencing. Although we have a few that will come out and say, but that comes back to stigmatization too. People will think this is not a man, because how can a woman be oppressing you or be treating you nasty in your own house? So it's a challenge. That's a challenge because men don't speak out. So it still comes down to sensitization, reorientation of people, so that anybody who is facing this type of violence or abuse can always come out and feel at home, or feel that yes, people will believe or accept that person. I think one of the problem is they believe that women are more vulnerable in society. So because of that, it's just a stereotype that men. A lot of people don't even believe it today that men experience sexual and gender-based violence. But with the cases we have, we can say categorically that yes, men do experience sexual and gender-based violence.
So what if when a man comes to JDPC Benin and reports a case of violence, how do you handle that case as a man?
I think one of the things that we have come to realize and have done very well at JDPC is alternative dispute resolution, where we don't just start, if somebody comes to report any form of violence or any issue at all in marriage or anywhere, we just say, okay, we'll take you, this one we'll take. But in JDPC, we have a way of resolving issues without involving the police or this thing. I think one of the things is therapy. A lot of people are experiencing violence in their family because of therapy, frustrations. And it is only a therapist that can sit a couple down. After listening to them, will pinpoint the real issues. Because a lot of people do not even know their issues. It might be financial issue, and this may lead to violence in the home. It might be sexual issue, and this may lead to violence in the home. So it takes a professional to sit a couple down, listen to them, and pinpoint, okay, this is the problem that this couple is having. And within time of therapy, I think there will be a resolution on how to go about it. But if it's a case where the after therapy, after every other alternative dispute resolution, it keeps happening, then we cannot involve the police or involve separation.
Okay, thank you very much, Famous. Ifunanya, let me come back to you. When we go out for sensitization, we see men, especially men, coming to us. Some even want to fight us because they always complain that women are dressing indecently because that is what causes rape. But you agree with me that we have had cases of children being raped, both male and female. Children, boys and girls. So what's your take on that? How do you address that?
Okay. You're asking concerning the men, as regarding the men.
Yes, how do you talk to them? How do you address them when they come to you and tell you such?
Okay.
That is because of the way the ladies are dressing. That is why they are being raped.
Okay, first of all, I think that's where we get it all wrong. The stories we've heard so far, the stories we've seen so far, it's not, in fact, during the period of, last month, we've gone online and we've seen different stories where even a 3-year-old child, a 4-year, a 7 years old, and even
Not just
baby of
online,
6 months.
JDPC Benin.
Okay, yes, we have. Okay, there was a case we handled 7 years and 4. 7 years and 4. You can't tell me that it's because those children have big boobs or they are well packaged. That's why a man of 30 something years old would just abuse like that. So even those children, they don't even have, if you even look at them, they are not even like fat. They don't even have this their organs or they don't have it coming out. So I think the men who are involved in this little children's case or stuff, they are mentally insane. They are not even doing their clear eyes. So if any man should come to me now and start saying it's because a person, maybe the reason why rape cases occur frequently is because a person or a girl is putting on maybe short skirt or exposing her body, I will correct the person and tell them it's not only about a girl putting on clothes that expose her body, but also the person or the man himself should go and check himself. They should take the person that did that kind of thing to a person, take the man to a hospital and check that person properly, because you can't just use your clear eye to do that kind of thing to a child.
Okay, thank you very
much. What she just said, we can agree that indecent dressing also add to sexual and gender-based violence.
Yes.
Let us not forget that a good society should dress decently. It just shows the same amount of people in that society.
Yes.
When something is immoral, it is immoral. So
Juliet, Funaya just told us of a case of a 7 years old and a 4 years old child that was reported to JDPC Benin. So can you tell us how that case was treated?
Thank you very much. That case, when it came to JDPC Benin Secretariat, we saw that it was not just a case that we can handle on our own. So we called our partners at Sexual Assault Referral Center. When they got there, we conducted tests with the doctors and nurses there, and after which the police took over, and after some time they called us that the guy has been remanded, that's the rapist, he has been remanded, and in January the court will swing into action for hearing of the case.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a good one for JDPC Benin. So can you tell us your partnership with other stakeholders like the law enforcement agency and the healthcare centers?
The JDPC Benin has partners all over places. Some of our partners are the police, they are the law enforcement officers, and amongst them we also have the vigilante, because at the time we had a case of a 4-year-old boy who ran out of their home, and in the middle of the night the vigilante got hold of him and called JDPC office, and by the dawn of the day JDPC swung into action. They went to the community, picked up the boy, and the boy was taken to ministry where he was sheltered for some time before alternative dispute resolution was done. between himself and family tracing between himself and his family, and the boy was handed over to his family at the end of the day. And also we have partners in the ministries, other ministries. We are also using this opportunity to call on businessmen, kind-hearted men and women. We have partners with USAID, South South. We have partners with so many organizations, even all the CSOs in the states. So we call on others, well-meaning Nigerians, to partner with us in this fight to stop Sgbv in our society.
Thank you so much. So please, can you tell us how JDPC Benin have enhanced sensitization in communities and how they have been able to reduce the stigma of sexual and gender-based violence?
Sexual and gender-based violence. On this course, JDPC has done well, like excellently well. I can tell you they have been to virtually all the schools, major markets in Edo South Senatorial District. They've been to churches, mosques, and also even some shrines. JDPC Benin have been there just to carry out this message on sexual and gender-based violence. And we are not relenting, because before now, the culture of silence was rampant. But now you see both the victims, their relatives, the community members, they cry out. Before now, they don't know where to go out to call for help. But now they know where to go to for help, even when they don't have transport. Some of them, they beg others for phone. Please give me your phone, let me quickly call this number. Because when we visit the community, markets, churches, we give them phone numbers to reach out to whenever there is a case of sexual and gender-based violence. And it has been helpful.
Thank you so much. I want to sincerely say a big thank you to our team for this great experience and insight. And together, JDPC Benin is joining every other stakeholders around the world to say stop sexual and gender-based violence. Please don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page at Justice Development and Peace Center Benin. And also don't forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you and have a great day.